Hello, it's Dan Master back again to bring you another video. This time, I'll be reading one true creepy Christmas story called Merry Fucking Christmas. Please enjoy the video, and if you like, subscribe and all that good stuff. So without further ado, Merry fucking Christmas. The doctor told me I have to write this. He said it might make me feel better. I don't think that's true. It has been so long that the doctors must know there's no getting better for me. You know what I think it is? Morbid curiosity. At my expense, of course. The doctors might have pretended to be empathetic at first, but they don't put the effort in anymore. Now I'm just an interesting case study that they pass around when they're having a slow day. And there's nothing I can do about it, except to take deep, slow breaths like Tabby taught me and write. Tabby is my therapist. She doesn't let me call her Dr. Gran. She said that we're friends. That sounds cheesy, but she's the only person that cares about me here. The one person, interestingly enough, who has never manipulated me. She still believes there's a chance for me. She only wants me to be happy. Okay, deep breaths. In and out. Why do they want to read this? They know the story anyway. Perhaps they are looking for inconsistencies? Enough stalling. Here I go. It starts with Christmas. I can't say that I didn't like Christmas, but it wasn't exactly my favorite holiday. Yes, there's feel-good movies and hot chocolate and presents and family time. Yes, there's Christmas carols and Christmas cookies and Christmas dinner. Yes, there's Santa and elves and reindeer. But there's also Christmas trees. And I hate Christmas trees. My parents used to think it was funny. It started when I was really little kid. Maybe around 5 or 6. I was too young to really help with decorating the tree, so my parents sent me to spend the day with my grandma, intent on surprising me with a fully decorated Christmas tree when I got home. We never had a Christmas tree before because in the past we lived in a tiny apartment and didn't have the space for one. My parents had finally bought their own house and they wanted to go all out for decorating. When I came home, there was this monster in the living room. It wasn't even recognizable as a tree once they were done with it. That was the problem. It was a huge green and red and gold monster looming over me with menace. It looked like it was 10 feet tall. My parents hung up very classy ornaments trying to make the tree look like something Martha Stewart would jizz over. But to me, they didn't look elegant. They looked twisted and spiky and sharp, threatening. To top it off, there was no angel at the top of the tree. In its place was a Santa hat. It looked awful with those ornaments, let me tell you. My parents never were very up-to-date on what's fashionable. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked, but my point is that with the addition of the hat, the monstrosity didn't look like a tree anymore. It looked like some kind of weird beast out of my nightmares, intent on swallowing me up and strangling me with its ropes of garland, stabbing me to death with its pointed ornaments, all while leering down at me, its eyes hiding under that god-awful hat. And I just knew it had eyes under there. Somewhere, they were watching me every move. I screamed and cried and threw a fit. My parents were absolutely bewildered. When I was finally able to stutter out why I was so afraid, they laughed at me. Of course, it must have seemed very silly to them. They didn't laugh to be malicious or cruel, but it really hurt me. Why couldn't they see how terrible that thing was? They got rid of the tree, and we didn't have one for many years after that. The story became very popular in our family. I hated hearing it every year, and I always hated Christmas trees after that. My attitude towards Christmas itself cooled off too. I actually liked Halloween more. Those things were supposed to be scary. It was expected. The fact that nobody could see what was scary about a Christmas tree upset me all the more. And what about all the other creepy Christmas traditions? The elf on the shelf? What side fuck came up with that? A midnight mass on Christmas where the church is dark, but for 100 candles casting shadows against the stained glass. And don't get me started on Stalker Santa. So yes, we celebrated Christmas in my house, but we didn't have a Christmas tree. Not until my younger brother came into the mix. He's 3 years younger than me. His name is Ethan. I tell myself that every day to make sure I don't forget it. Sometimes I'm afraid I'll wake up one day and his name will be gone forever. It feels that way whenever they change my medication. I won't forget. If that's the only good thing that comes from writing this down, so be it. Anyway, Ethan. When Ethan was 6, my parents decided to reintroduce the Christmas tree. They sat down and had a talk with me about how they wanted Ethan to have that experience. How I was old enough not to be afraid of a tree. I told them that of course I wasn't afraid. I gotten over that a long time ago. Inside though, I was sick with fear. But I couldn't let it show, because I love Ethan. I love him more than anything in the world. I wanted him to have the best Christmas ever. So we got a tree. My parents tried to get me to help decorate. I wanted to refuse, but Ethan begged me, and I just couldn't. So I helped string up the garland and the lights. The whole time I felt like the fucking thing was mocking me, laughing at me. I can't explain it. It was like it knew I was afraid, knew I felt the danger emanating from its branches. Once in a while, a branch would scrape against my arm and I'd jump. It felt like the tree was reaching out for me. That was a long afternoon. Once the tree was decorated, I avoided it as much as possible. I stayed out of the living room when I could, and when I couldn't avoid it, I kept my eyes averted. I thought that maybe since I was a few years older, I wouldn't be so frightened. It wouldn't be so frightening, but I was wrong. It was even worse. I felt like it was mocking me and my fear. I know how it sounds. Anyway, Ethan absolutely loved the tree. He would sit in front of it every day after school playing with ornaments and lights. Sometimes he'd get up in the middle of the night and curl up to sleep under the tree. My parents took a few pictures of him like that. They thought it was so cute. I wonder where those pictures are now. Not that anyone will let me see them. So life went on. Christmas got closer, and Ethan was getting more and more excited. God, he just loved Christmas so much. And I didn't, but I loved that it made him happy, and it was more than happy to play along with him to get him into the Christmas spirit. And then before we knew it, Christmas Eve arrived. We had Christmas Eve traditions, like any family. We would all cuddle up in the living room with cups of hot chocolate and watch Christmas movies. Ethan and I would each get to choose one present from under the tree to open a day early. We would set out milk and cookies, and then we'd all go to bed. Sometimes about half an hour after going to bed, my parents would shake jingle bells outside our rooms to convince us that Santa had arrived. At 9 years old, I obviously was much too old to believe in Santa. Thank you very much. But Ethan loved it, so it was okay. But that Christmas Eve was different. It was different because I was sick. I really wasn't faking it. I think my parents suspected I was to get out of sitting in the living room near the Christmas tree, but I honest to God felt nauseous and freezing cold. I finally convinced my mom by asking her to take my temperature. I was running a pretty substantial fever. I remember her frowning as she looked down at the thermometer. "Oh, honey, I'm sorry I didn't believe you," she said. I can still see her in my mind's eye, fly away strands of her long black hair falling in front of her eyes. My eyes looked just like hers. "We'll get you in bed, sport. You can open the first present tomorrow," Dad offered as consolation. I can't see his face as clearly, but I can see his stature, the way he dwarfed the room. He was invincible. I always felt that way. Nothing could beat my dad. Ethan gave me an extra long hug and even offered to give up opening a present early so I wouldn't feel left out, but I knew he'd be disappointed, so I told him to go ahead and open it and let me know in the morning what he got. The smile he gave me was so worth it. I went to bed dozing into a fitful sleep, my brother's laughter drifting in and out of my ears as I slowly relaxed. The next few hours passed in a haze. I thought perhaps my fever had gotten worse because I kept hearing things. I heard my parents arguing about something. I heard something fall downstairs. I heard a strange rustling noise. The noise punctuated my dreams, a long string of nightmares about Santa and knives and shattered Christmas lights. I gasped into consciousness as I was dreaming about choking to death on a candy cane. It seemed rather silly when I woke up, but it doesn't seem silly now. It was about 3 in the morning when I woke up. I was feeling better, but I still had a bit of a fever. I decided to walk back down the stairs for a glass of water. I remember chuckling to myself, thinking how surprised it'd be if I ran into Santa. Wouldn't that be something? But my giggling sounded a little strange to my ears. I was nervous. Why was I nervous? I couldn't trace the feeling to its source. I only knew that something about that night wasn't letting me relax. I walked down the stairs in the pitch black, not wanting to turn on the lights and wake anyone else up. I reached the landing and walked towards the kitchen. Okay, this is the part that gets hard. Deep breaths. Think of Ethan. I knew something was wrong. Even as I got a glass of water from the tap, I could sense it. I couldn't pinpoint exactly what was going on at first, and then it hit me. The sound. See, this wasn't noise. It was obnoxious and grating and immediately recognizable. It was just a slow, deep sound that was vaguely familiar, vaguely unsettling, and it was coming from the living room. My hand trembled around the glass as I stared into the kitchen. The kitchen opened directly into the dining room, which was connected to the living room. The door between the dining room and the living room was shut. My parents had hung a Christmas wreath on it. It looked a lot less festive in the dark. For a long moment I just stared at the door, willing the sound to go away. But then the world doesn't work like that. I learned